Yes, here we go. The last Shelter FootyCast of the AFL season. No, don't worry, we're not going anywhere. Yes, I am actually. Well, I don't know what's happening. We'll be on air. Don't worry. This isn't the last for the year, but it is the last of the AFL season. The grand final preview here at BackChat Studios. Mark Reddings joins me. Skeeter, how are you?
Look, I'm excited about the grand final. I'm excited about the next couple of days.
You can't be that excited by the grand final. You're fucking leaving the country.
Oh yeah, no. Well, the first time in a while, I succumbed. The family said, you go to the Melbourne Cup every year, you go to the grand final every year. How about we go to the overseas last week of September? I said, what about the grand final? They said, no, we need to do this as a family. So
why do I... Oh, I assume you've seen the Griswolds.
Mate, we are atypical. Just take Charles Griswold, put me in the position, and we are the Griswolds on vacation. Absolute numpty. Can't fix anything. Even yesterday, my daughter's luggage got left in the wrong airport. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, so right to Chicago. So, but that happens with me. It just happens. Like Qantas, they're going on strike. So we'll probably get stuck somewhere in Siberia for 3 weeks.
The family dog gets stuck attached to the car. Oh, see, I'm just imagining like putting together a package of you, like Skeeter goes to New York.
Yeah.
Nice photo in front of the Statue of Liberty.
The pay-wise hat, shelter hat. It's something you go pear-shaped, but we're used to that. So just a question of how pear-shaped it goes.
Can you just immediately let me know when like shit starts going wrong? Could you just let me know? Because I'd like to let our listeners know.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone would get great joy in my adventures, but just feel like watching me watching you with the kids at the Royal Show the other day, and poor old Alex trying to push the pram through the sand, and I'm thinking to myself, thank goodness I've gone past the point of having to go and spend $200 on fairy floss and two show bags.
200 would have been nice. Has anyone been to the show recently? Seriously, I reckon I didn't escape there. I was there for 3.5 hours. $300. I reckon it cost me.
Gone.
$300. It was $10 to put ping pong balls into a clown, 5 of them. And what did I get in return? A fluffy toy that was worth 30 cents.
Out of Taiwan, yeah.
And it was $10 each. So it was 2 kids.
Someone's making money there. I don't know who it is.
It ain't me. I can tell you that right now. Shelter FootyCast. Let's get into some of the stuff going on, Skeeter. If you don't have grand final plans, we are going to be live from the final. We've got a grand final preview pre-game. The Shelter FootyCast will be there. Mark Reddings won't be. I know that's disappointing for everybody to hear. Scott Cummings stepping in.
Good replacement. He went to Mazenod College up in the hills like I did as well, I think. So there's...
so he's a delinquent like you.
Yeah, he's got a bit of that element. But if you reckon he will have some fun... He doesn't mind us pinning the ears back.
Correct. So he's going to be Mark Reddings for the day. So I'm not sure who sort of does it better, you or Scotty, but it's going to be a fun day. So if you don't have your tickets for that, they're still available. Thefinal.au, you can get them there. That's at Subiaco Oval. I think there's going to be 3,000 or 4,000 people there. So if you don't have plans, I'd probably be heading there if I was you. Shelter dropping their Left Coast IPA very shortly. The launch event will be at Shelter on Friday, the 4th of October. So if you're in Busselton, a juiced up version of one of the most popular beers ever, Skeeter.
Very nice. I like that terminology. Juiced up.
Okay,
like a couple of the racehorses I've backed over the years.
And also talking about juiced up, San Cisco will be at Shelter on the 8th of November. So make sure you get your tickets there as well. All right, Skeet, let's get into it. We haven't spoken to our good friends here about the Brownlow Medal. We, of course, went to where before that, Monday morning. So a fair bit's gone under the bridge since then. How did you see it? There's been like falsified outrage about it. I don't get it personally.
No, look, I think history shows when you've seen some of the other numbers that have been polled and you go, how does Paddy Cripps end up with those many numbers, 45, I think, and was it Dacos 38?
Something like that, yeah.
That's extraordinary. Look, there's question marks about the umpires, about whether they should get more information after the game. There's been question marks whether the process should change from an AFL perspective. I think just take a deep breath. Is this an anomaly in terms of the numbers that were given to a couple of players specifically? Did Bont get absolutely stitched? There's all these questions. That's why it's a unique award. It's the umpires. It's not perfect. It may not be the best, but it's pretty close to what other media awards have judged as the best player of the season, being Cripps and Dacos as being the best too. So surely they didn't get that far wrong.
So the reason I don't get it, right, is it's not the only award in our game. And it's
but it's the most prestigious one.
Well, one of the most prestigious. But people want to change it. This is what the Brownlow is. The umpires give votes and the umpires award the best and fairest player. That's what the Brownlow is. The coaches award, the coaches do it. The MVP, the players do it. We've got media awards across the country. We've got the coaches award. We've probably got a fan MVP floating around. I saw that at the West Coast Best and Fairest. They've all got their own metrics, and the Brownlow, the umpires decide it. Now, do they get it right all the time? No, they don't. But that's the Brownlow medal. I think it always has been. So I don't understand we need to do this and we need to give them less control and
the fake outrage. Which look, the only element that I find, and again, it's a fairest and best. So Isaac Keaney. Now, there are going to be instances, given the way the MRP is becoming more and more stringent on tackling and bumping, that players are going to be suspended for incidents, and they might be the best player in the competition, that's going to cost them a Brownlow medal because of something that even 5-10 years ago wasn't even considered a report. So that's going to be an unfortunate byproduct of sticking to the rigid fairest and best. To say, just take the fairest out of it, and if you still poll enough votes, go with it. I just don't think you can have that in place for this particular award.
I'm even more it confirmed in my mind that the Brownlow just needs to stay as is. So you don't need to change it. Like, if you've got an issue with it, pay more attention to the player's player or pay more attention to the coaches. It doesn't have to be, prestigious to you. But that's
it's unique. It's unique. And I think the Dally M in rugby league, I think that is a referee-based award. I'll get Jaden just to check on that, because the Dally M in the NRL, other major awards in other codes, just trying to work out whether
it doesn't matter. It doesn't. We don't need to compare it.
No, of course, but there are other. Look, the fact that it's the umpires, I think it's a bloody tough job. You're trying to umpire a game of footy, keep your eye on who the 3-2-1. I know there's collaborative moments after the game, but it's pretty difficult, and they've basically got it right.
Correct. So people are having a cry about Patrick Cripps getting so many votes. So 18 times players received 10 coaches' votes, but received no Brownlow votes, and 17 times players received 0 coaches' votes and 3 Brownlow votes. It's different awards. So that stuff is irrelevant. Why does Patrick Cripps get so many votes? I think it's pretty easily explained. There's not too many other players for Carlton you could give votes to in any game. Like, regardless of what's going on, they won quite a few games.
Sam Walsh missed quite a bit of footy early.
And so he's the guy that can get votes. But other than that, like, the forwards don't really get votes. Like Charlie Curnow, Harry Mackay, okay, if they go and kick 8 or 10 goals, maybe. They're not giving Jacob Wiedering votes in the back line.
Jay McGovern didn't get a vote for the year. He's a 5th All-Australian jumper.
I think Wiedering got 0 as well.
Yeah.
So that's why Patrick Cripps got so many votes. If Carlton win, he gets votes. And we've probably seen that pattern happen quite a bit. I saw Matty Rowell get, I think he got 25 votes. If you'd like to hear my tip for the 2025 Brownlow medal, if I can just get this in early, Skeeter, Matt Rowell to win the 2025 Brownlow. Do you know my theory on this? Because I look at Patrick Cripps, right? And I look at every other Carlton player. We're not giving votes to anyone. You look at Gold Coast, Noah Anderson and Sam Flanders were the other 2 that got votes. I think Gold Coast might win more games of footy next year. And unless Dusty makes his way there, I don't know who else you're giving votes to. Matty Rowell's my 2025 Brownlow.
Toot Miller's the guy that had missed a bit of footy this year. Matt Rowell tends to, and certainly going back, maybe he polled, I think, best on 3 times in a row in
some
his
guys just
start of his career. Yeah, some guys just get votes. So
from the umpires, which is what the Brownlow is.
If we're starting to predict the 2025 Brownlow medalist already, Sco, we're clutching at straws.
Look, I won't be having the pick who's going to win the grand final. Seriously. So there we go. Well done, Patrick Cripps, West Australian.
Yeah, Northampton boy. Met his parents this year, by the way. Lovely family.
2-time Brownlow medals.
Yeah, and it looks like a humble champ. Don't really know him at all. I don't know if you've met him or obviously played against him.
Much to do with him, but he spoke well. Angus Brayshaw spoke really well. There was a few little controversies.
Does it not go too long? Are you pretty happy with that?
No, mate, we were at the Jack Buckley medal.
So the night was very long.
Bloody hell, I'll tell you what. Congratulations to Harris Andrews, the winner of the Jack Buckley medal.
No surprise. Yeah, I was a late apology for that because...
you were invited.
I was invited. There was a reason for that.
What was that?
Because I was completely cooked after going out Sunday night till, the AM.
you would have been... You can't even remember doing the show on Monday, I can tell you that right now. So is the Daily M is Umpires Award over there, Jaden? Did you find it?
Sports commentators. There you go. That's the most prestigious award in NRL. Imagine you and I being given the opportunity to vote. There's some blokes in the AFL we don't even know their names until they appear on the team sheet.
Fucking wins a Brownlow. Seriously. All right, so there we go. Harris Andrews, winner of the BackChat Backman of the Year. We've got the Forwards Award, the Forward Coleman Medal.
Can I ask, what does Harris, I know he's got another couple of issues on his plate at the moment.
I think this would be the biggest moment of the week for him.
So what did he receive apart from the kudos?
A medallion. A Perth Mint has procured a medal show on the way out.
Okay, yeah.
No, it's you'll be impressed. You'll actually be impressed. So, just a bit of respect for Backman. That's what he wins. Is that all right? A bit of respect.
I'm not knocking
Something you search for.
I think he's a gun. What?
Respect. No. I'm saying.
Where did James Sicily finish?
James Sicily. Not in the top 5.
Not the top 5 defenders of the year. Oh, you're talking about
Sam Collins. Well, I'm talking about Dower types.
Dower. So you took Sam Collins, fairest and best at Gold Coast.
So Sam Collins was close. Tom Barras was close.
Sam Collins was second. TV was third.
Yeah, which is sort of what I'm doing here, Jaden. Thank you very much.
Just helping you out.
Oh, well, I'm just going through in order. So Sam Collins was close. Tom Barras was close. Jack Buckley, Sam Taylor also in the running.
Has Tom Barras left the state, by the way, or is he?
He was actually at the Jack Buckley medal, and probably one of the highlights of the night was when a very drunk Hamish Brayshaw and quite drunk Will Schofield with the entire crowd sung the Hawthorn theme song to Tom as he was at the bar getting a drink. It was very funny. Had 400 people at the Leadable Hotel belting out the...
How did he respond to that?
Oh, whatever. It was a joke, Skate.
Yeah.
No, he was fine. Chris Fagan won the AFL Coaches Association Coach of the Year. Sam Mitchell, maybe a little stiff.
No, I don't think so. Sam Mitchell had a good year, very good year. He took them from 0-5 into a elimination final, of which they lost that. I think I know we'll talk about the grand final. I think if the Brisbane Lions win on Saturday, it is one of the great stories of great premierships in the last 25 years.
Is that right?
Reason being, I mean, you go through what happened, the controversy off the field with the Vegas incident, which was discussed, and how much you put on credits on that, whatever, that's there. Put into place the injuries that they've had, the knee, the ACLs to Coleman, to McCarthy, to Gardner. Duday, of course. Yeah, they were round 13. I think they were 4-6 or something. They were Gonski. They then had to go through the elimination process. Obviously, Gabba home final, which was a soft win for them, but then win in Sydney, then win in Melbourne. If they can come back and win, given all of the hurdles that have been put in front of the Brisbane Lions, I regard it as one of the great premiership victories of this century.
There you go. Mark Redding strong off the top. I don't mind that from you, Skater. Very good. Before we get into any more grand final stuff, Trent Cotchin, good friend of Dusty Martin, has so last week he was 0 to 1% chance. So I thought that was leaving the door a little open for mine, like because if you know, you know.
Yeah.
So he's given it a 0-1. Last night
I'm talking footy. He's essentially said it's now 0.1 to 0. He just thinks it's not happening, and I can only guesstimate that he's got some very good mail, obviously from Dusty or someone. Yeah, exactly. So those who keep banging on about the possibility,
it's in the same areas as Dean Cox to coach West Coast. I heard not too long ago, like, do you think Dean Cox is still a chance if Sydney win it? Well, it's the same areas.
I'll ask you this question. Will Dean Cox, if Sydney win the premiership this year, will he be coaching in 2025? The outright. And
who? Sydney.
Will Dean Cox coach the Swans in 25 if they win on Saturday? From next year, do you think? Is there a chance of that?
Yeah, I think there's, a strong chance.
Okay.
Strong chance of that. But he won't have Chad Warner in the team if that's the case. Charlie Dixon.
Back up the truck.
Well, I said this Monday.
Well, did you? I can't remember what you said.
Mate, if Sydney win the flag.
He's out.
If Sydney win the flag, I think there's a good chance that West Coast will come very hard at Chad Warner.
So they're a greater chance to get him than, obviously, Shea Bolton's looking more towards Fremantle.
Well, we can't have everyone, can you? So if you get Shea Bolton, and if you go on, whoever you get, you don't have unlimited picks to go and get people.
So on that basis, if the Dockers have got better collateral, wouldn't they be leaning more towards a Chad Warner if possible?
You truly don't remember being here Monday, I reckon.
I do. I remember. Well, I remember you give me a lift home.
You remember? you remember getting over here? Look, I don't know how else to say it other than I think West Coast want to go and make a play for Chad Warner, and if he wins a flag, he's going to be more open to that. If you don't win a flag, then you're going to go and stay at Sydney and try and win a flag.
How hard is it to leave the club straight after you win a flag, though? In all seriousness. Yeah. Anyway, that's a discussion.
We'll come back to that, but I don't know how we got back onto that. But there you go, Skeeter. There's a bit of trade stuff floating around. Dan Houston flip flopping around.
He wants to go to Victoria,
but he wanted to stay.
Yeah, but he's decided he'll be going. It's interesting. Josh Rotham being spoken to by Essendon reportedly.
Saw that. Well, yeah, obviously.
I can't blame him. And if he gets the opportunity, as of tomorrow, to sign with the Bombers, I'm doing it.
Yep, absolutely, Simon.
Well, why? And that's not saying the West Coast Eagles have been haven't followed through with the process properly. They've taken too long for a player. This is too long.
Yeah,
if you're in limbo, I know there's a coach to be appointed, but if you're a player, I've got no issue with you exploring and then saying, I don't care who's coach. If I'm right, if I've got the offer on the table, what do they say? Two birds in the hand are better than I
don't know what these sayings mean.
Put it this way: if you've got an offer in front of you,
right,
which you might have from Essendon,
see ya.
I'm going goodbye.
You played Josh Kennedy. I don't know where that grab was from, where he spoke about the players at West Coast being the ones that are sort of
left hanging,
suffering a little bit. So he's one of those guys. Do we know who's going to be the coach or not?
Do we know?
West Coast.
I've got no idea. Well, I'll be totally honest. I've never known through this process.
I'll be totally honest.
You said Stephen King, which is fair enough.
It's like picking the grand final.
It's like trying to pick a Melbourne Cup winner. Really, you think you might know, but we don't.
And we're into the last straight now. And personally, I'm still a chance that mine wins, but still a chance he loses.
Andrew McCulter apparently presented really well last week, but what that means, who knows? But by this time next week, surely we'll have an idea.
Mate, you'd be naming the Monday, wouldn't you?
Would have thought so.
Very latest Monday.
Well, put it this way: Stephen King is out, given Geelong's out.
Yes.
McCulter, no issue there. Hayden Skipper.
Where's McCulter right now?
McCulter's at Richmond still?
No,
Melbourne. Maybe Melbourne. Sorry,
he's at Melbourne.
Yes.
So I mean, they could easily just appoint him now.
They could have done it. Obviously, grand final week probably.
What does that mean though? Grand final week. West Coast have packed their bags up 4 weeks ago.
I know.
Grand final week means nothing unless we're talking about people being over there getting on the piss. Like aren't they setting up for next year? West Coast. Who gives a shit if it's grand final week?
No, I don't disagree.
It's only relevant to the teams who are in it.
Yeah, no,
so why are they not pulling the trigger? What are we waiting for?
We'll give Pikey a call. I don't know. I don't know whether they need to check their police clearance. I don't know what they've got to do.
Name it. What there can't be anything that's going to happen in the next 2 days.
I don't know, mate. Well, they've had their meetings. They've done their presentations, I believe. So
make a call.
Yeah, I know.
Let's go, Pikey.
I agree with you.
Make me right. Stephen King, looking forward to him taking that position. Jack Lukosius off to Port Adelaide. Apparently on a $6-year deal. Wow, they need that. I don't know if they need him. Apparently him and Connor Rozee are good mates. I'm not sure that matters. But Jack Lukosius, I don't know if he's the solver for their forward line problems.
No.
I mean, he won't make them worse.
No, I'm a bit concerned about them. Todd Marshall's got the question marks over him. Charlie Dixon has retired, which is, he had a poor final series, but hopefully that doesn't get overshadowed. What a really good servant, what a forward he's been for the club.
At stages, he was one of the best.
One of the best, absolutely. Yeah, we always remember the fading star as opposed to the shining one.
All said. Look, I'm happy with this. Grand final umpires have been named, and I was 100% correct. So it's Matt Stevick, Simon Meredith, Nick Foote, and Craig Fleer. 3 of those are from Saturday's prelim. That Friday performance by the umpires, and it's no different to us going and sledging off St Kilda or North or West Coast when they play like shit. They, as a team, perform so poorly. I think Matt Stevick was the only one from Friday night. So that is the umpiring grand finalists. I mean, this is a big deal for umpires as well. This is their grand final.
Absolutely.
They're competing to be picked in this.
And Matt Stevick, that must be a record.
No, he's absolutely
11 consecutive and 12 in total. So, we know Brett Roseberry, I think, has done maybe 9 or 10. And
pretty sure he was on the Friday night game, Brett Roseberry.
Yeah, he was, yeah. So, put it this way, your performances, even more so than players, your performance is because you've got other umpires in that finals grouping that they can choose from.
Yes,
so
and there's only 4.
If you have a stinker, then or you don't have a great final, then you get left behind. So well on to those selected.
Spoke to Dean Margetts, maybe a year ago on BackChat, and So he never umpired a grand final, and he umpired a prelim, and he said there was one specific decision. I think it was the 2015. I think it was North Melbourne West Coast, and there was one specific decision
that he was told about later.
Yeah, I think I told about it at the time that like this is effectively
why you're not going to
the reason why you're not umpiring the grand final, and that's how brutal it is.
Do you remember what he said?
It was something to do with boots, Luke Shuey. Maybe sucked him into a high one or something. Yeah, he wasn't at all having to go at boots.
But just the circumstances. Yeah,
and that's brutal for umpires as well. So good luck to those lads ahead of the big one. Will Schofield, Mark Reddings, Shelter FootyCast. Okay, Skeeter, usually we've got 9 games to go through, but just the one.
Perfect.
Sydney v Brisbane MCG. You've got a flight to catch. Are you catching business class, I'm assuming?
No, I'm going midnight.
Who are you flying with?
We're going Qantas, which brings another question to play. There's some engineers going on strike on the East Coast. So it'll go pear-shaped. I just know. It's just a question of the start of the trip, the middle, the end. Like the bags could end up in Acapulco. I don't know what will happen. But I just don't have any luck in running when it comes to overseas trips.
Where's Acapulco?
I don't know. It's somewhere far flung, a long way from where I needed the bags to go.
I could just going via the East Coast.
No, so going Perth, Sydney, Auckland, New York. Get there 4 p.m. Need to find a bar by midnight to go and watch the grand final.
We have a couple on the plane, maybe not
a couple, but I'm not. Let's be sensible. If you're flying 17 hours and you've done a Rod Marsh, you're not going to be in great, or a David Boone. You're not going to be in great shape when you get to New York.
Will you be able to sleep, or do you just?
I sleep, baby. I sleep. I can just. I reckon you'd be the same. I get on the window. And my wife hates me because she then has to lean on me and she's in the middle seat. But I just I'll just use me as a cushion, which is a bit of comfort for her there. And I'll just sleep, baby. Can you sleep on planes?
Yeah, I can actually.
That's hilarious. Couple of.
I don't know why you keep calling me baby. That's the only part. Sydney v Brisbane MCG Saturday 12:30 Western, 2:30 local,
and 12:30 a.m. Manhattan time.
Yes, which is very important. Can you send me a photo or something?
Yeah, well, I'll try and do something like snazzy, like take an Instagram.
What about a bit of video?
Yeah,
I'll do that.
Well, I've got a daughter who's going to be with
she
Olivia.
Can video you.
They can do all that stuff, and I'll just.
Can you do this like a Shelter FootyCast introduction from the bar wherever you are?
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Okay, great. I'd like to see
This is
that.
for Monday.
First Swans Lions grand final since 1899.
Well, they're clutching at straws the Vicks a bit here because that's going back to South Melbourne, Fitzroy. But anyway, let's.
So they've never played.
Certainly Sydney and Brisbane have never played the grand final.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? I know I'll change tack here a bit, but imagine if this was a 5 o'clock, 5:30 GF. Numbers-wise across the nation would be, I reckon, another 500,000 people.
Why?
Just the night matches, because more people are home. You just got more available audience. That's just it's a fact. I mean, night matches rate better than a day game.
What are people doing on grand final day other than you flying to Manhattan? Like, what are people doing at 12:30 or 2:30 more than they'd be doing at 5:30 on grand final day?
To be honest with you, like 12:30 on a Saturday afternoon, as opposed to say a 6 o'clock PM, you've just got more people at home. That's just it's a fact. Whether it's
but
people,
what do I want on
shopping.
TV?
Hey.
Well, who cares who's watching it on TV?
Because broadcasters pay the wages essentially of a lot of people in the business, so they're keen for it to go. And I think at the end of the day, I mean, I know Katy Perry's only part of it, but having the entertainment at night, having the NRL grand final, they get really good numbers. I've got no issue with going to a twilight grand final eventually, very soon, in fact.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't want it to change. I think I'm getting a little bit Western Australian here and don't really want the change. I don't know. It does feel too early when you're here.
12:30
in Western Australia. Like when you go to the games in Melbourne, which Skeeter, you can get up at 9, have a bit of brekkie, and then make your way down to Punt Road and have a few beers. Here, you wake up. And time to pop the champagne, mate.
You got to go on one. It's like Melbourne Cup Day. You've got to be on it early.
Yeah, correct. So I think it's too early for Western Australia, but no one really worries too much about that.
But from a broadcast perspective, I can guarantee you they would love it to be a bit like the prelim final. I think that was a 3:15 start Perth time.
Oh, that was good. Actually, that was good. That was good here.
Yeah, so that to me is, I think, if you just open the horizons to something outside of 2:30, just give it a try. I can guarantee you the entertainment will look better.
You can't guarantee me anything. You cannot guarantee me
I'll tell you what, it'll mean that you'll have had more time to preload before the opening bounce, and you'll
Katy Perry goes from about.
Yeah,
What's she now? I won't get into that.
She's playing 5 songs, I think.
Is she?
Yeah.
What's your favourite Katy Perry song?
Well, no, the controversy is that she might not be singing Raw, but there's been a lot
How's
of
that
banter on that. Yeah. No, well, you know,
No.
you do know this song.
How's it go?
No, I'm not. No, it's the Eye of the Tiger, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not singing it. She's got octaves up here.
How's it go?
My voice is down here.
How's it go? Give me a couple.
No,
of lines.
because
One line.
I'm not going to give you content to make me look like.
Jaden, one line. One line. I got the
Eye
eye.
of the Tiger. Yeah. Why do you have to try and always make me look like a goose?
Got him.
You're gonna hear me rock. That one.
Yes, and that's all we've got time for the grand
Yeah,
final.
it is.
Shaden's got to clip the video already.
No, don't be silly.
You absolute beauty. All right, bloody hell. Let's talk about footy.
She's coming to Perth, by the way, next June.
You going? You'll be going.
No, I'm not going. I put it this way. I'm not going to. My wife's going to see Kylie Minogue. I'm going to leave her to Kylie.
You're not going to Kylie?
Well, do you think I'm a Kylie sort of,
Yeah, you do strike me as a bit of a Kylie.
Oh,
You do.
yeah. Let's go on. Let's talk footy.
You keep taking us off track. Sydney has lost 6 of the last 8 games at the MCG. Not a good stat. Brisbane has won 5 of its last 6 games against Sydney. So there's a couple for you, Skeeter. This one here, for me, and I'll start with why and how I think this game's going to go from a pure analytical sense. Both of these teams, they're the top 2 ranked teams in the AFL for scoring from intercepts. So how this game is going to be won and lost is it's going to be a transition game. Who can win that turnover and score off it? So both of them are very good at that. So whoever is going to win this game needs to create the most turnovers. So it's pressure, it's defensive one-on-ones, it's your contest battle, which is what grand finals are made of. Whoever can create the most turnovers wins the game. So if I look at this at the end of 120 minutes, I reckon I can just go straight to turnovers. Whoever's created the most, or whoever's had the least or created the most wins the game.
Yeah. No, look, you can go through all the metrics you want, including I think Sydney will be really keen to ensure they push Brisbane wide so they can't use the corridor, because when we saw them take on the game against Geelong and the game opened up, I thought they looked really dangerous through the middle. So that's an element of the game. I think the contested footy favours, the numbers favour Brisbane. That being said, Oscar McInerney drops out, Darcy Fort comes in.
Yep.
I don't think he is far from a last resort as a backup ruckman. He's pretty accomplished, and I think this is his moment to try and help feed a couple of the Lions mids. There has been a bit of suggestion in the last couple of hours that a Brisbane mid will miss with injury. Now, how significant? I don't know.
Lockie Neal?
No, I don't think it's Lockie Neal per se, but there has been some suggestion that there's maybe a Brisbane player in doubt because of injury. But yeah, look, there's elements to this game. We saw Sydney against Port Adelaide take 130 marks, a lot of uncontested marks. They controlled the match. Conversely, if Brisbane takes 100 marks in a game, as most teams do, you're generally winning side.
They've won 14 out of 17.
Yeah, which is
Taking 100 marks more.
Yeah, their numbers on that space are good.
But that's pretty much anyone, to be honest.
Exactly.
On the ruckman stuff, Skate. So I look back at our premiership year. We lost Nick Nananui late in the season. Scott Lysett and Nathan Vardy came into the team. And we didn't quite get it right for a few rounds. But by the prelim final, their job literally was to tag, first of all in the prelim, Max Gawn, the best ruckman in the comp. And then ironically, Brodie Grundy in the 2018 Grand Final was tagged by our ruckman. Now, I look at the game today, and I know you have a good chuckle about me coming back and playing in the Waffle next year, but I look at ruckman and I just think, why on earth, if you're not as good as the other guy, so is Darcy Ford as good as Brodie Grundy? He's not, right? So just go and run around and tag him. Just go everywhere he goes. You don't have to go out of your role. You don't have to go and take a specky or kick a goal. Just stop him. And if you stop him...
Or neutralise him and just bring the ball to ground and try to give away too many free kicks in the process.
It honestly wouldn't be that hard. And I say that with the greatest respect. If Darcy Ford has the right mindset, it's not that hard to run around on someone. And I say this as someone who used to run around on people for my entire career. Just compete. just get yourself mentally in the right point of view to go, you know what, you're not going to beat me today. You might get some touches, you might kick a goal or two, but just don't get your pants pulled down.
There's more pressure on Brodie Grundy by a mile to be dominant, to be giving his mids first use. So, yeah, I think Darcy Ford, and of course there'll be the spectre of Oscar McInerney, also for Callum Mills, and both players I'm told, believe, are going to be able to sit, if not on the bench, certainly in that enclave of
dugouts.
Yeah, which I think I got no issue with that at all. These guys have been there all year. One's a captain, one has been, you know, the custodian of the side in the ruck for so many years. So
I don't know if I'd be a help
as a
or
player.
hinder. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be a help or hinder.
Can you imagine, and just going back to your year, can you imagine who was the last man of the boat? Brad Shepherd. He was the last man out because of injury.
He wouldn't have wanted to sit down.
No.
And like Guffey wouldn't have wanted to sit down there, and Nick wouldn't have.
Slightly different. Those guys would finish well and truly.
Well, Shepherd was out in qualifying.
That's what I'm saying. So he's the most recent of those three. Yeah. Anyway, it's interesting. The players will have that choice whether they do it. I think the Lions would like Oscar to be there to even instructionally if he's up to it. Because, you know, you're going to be going through a whole range of emotions.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the Callum Mills one, I think that was the right call. I think regardless of the fact getting through training, the thing with hammies is they just go. So I've done quite a few.
We'll just go back to 2022. Sam Reid went in.
Groin.
Yeah, and in doubt and simply just couldn't go a yard.
Subbed him at half
Whereas conversely, Chris Scott has revealed, I think in the last week or so, if he had his time again, he would have had Max Holmes as the sub because
in the prelim.
In the grand final. Because remember, he missed out on the grand final in 22. That's right. With the hammy, I'm pretty sure.
They could have definitely played Callum Mills at the sub. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, but again, what happens if as a coach,
I think a lot of what ifs.
Exactly. You're obliged to go with your best side, their best side that is fit, and you never have any excuses when you have your team fully fit, albeit missing a player or two. As say, 18 is an example, fully fit side essentially. Gov had issues, but you got your team out there that you trust to get through from the first to the last quarter.
There is. So the coaches need to take the emotions out of it. That their job is to pick a team that not necessarily is risk-free, but gives them the best chance of winning, right? And does Callum Mills in your side do that? Maybe, but there's a increased risk that it gives you a less chance of winning because you have one less player because hammies just go. But what is relevant is his teammates. Like, again, I look back to my experience. If Shannon Hearn, you know, as a fellow backman and captain of my side, was battling injury or for 2 weeks and that they would want Callum Mills to play. And so him not playing would have an impact on the group. Like they would feel for him. Can they turn that into a positive and go, let's do this for Millsy or whatever they call him? Cal?
Skipper.
Can they do that for him rather than, I feel so sad for Callum Mills for missing out. So, yeah.
Can I just drive off the freeway for just 30 seconds? Because you were telling a story about 2018. And I'm sitting.
This is my favourite part of the podcast. I don't even know why
I'm about to go to bed last night. I just thought I'll just turn on X. That's Twitter. Just in case you didn't know. And then I just come across this little drive-by from, is it Tim Bailey? From
what is going on here?
About you speaking about yourself, making it about yourself, the podcast. And I thought, I've got to ask Scully what the history is here.
There is no history. I promise. Has he replied yet? No. So, mate, I'm minding my own fucking business.
What was the angst from?
I don't know, mate. So this is the tweet with no context to anyone else, which is what pretty much all the Twitter got last night. Hope, and he's tagged me. It's not just a Will Schofield that no one said. He's tagged me. So I've said, hope Will Schofield saw the first 3 minutes of AFL 360 tonight. That is humility, humble, and kind. Not making yourself the story on your own podcast. Truly tone deaf and totally irrelevant. At Tim Gossage. He's tagged Goss in it. So first and foremost, I go, shit, what's happened in the first 3 minutes?
And what have you said previously?
Well, I do a weekly slot for the last 3 years on AFL Tonight, which gets shown before AFL 360.
Okay.
Which I was on last night. But I was no different than I have been all year. And the last question, as a little part of the deal that I do, I get to say who's on BackChat this week. And this week, it's me. Like, I'm the guest.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm the guest.
Who's interviewing you?
I've done over 200 of these interviews and I've never told my story. So Sam Butler former premiership player, and Dan Const, interview me. That's the podcast. That's pretty much all I said. I said, I don't even remember what I said, but if you want to hear anything about my story, go and listen to it. That's pretty much what I said.
Oh, and that's where it's come from.
That's where I think it's come from. But then I went and saw like the 360 the first 3 minutes, and bloody hats off to the young fella. It's the Oz Kicker of the Year and doing brilliant stuff. But that's it. I'm not sure what the correlation
what
is.
the link
There would have been like a 20-minute break in between them as well. So I reckon, shout out to Big Timmy Bailey. I'm pretty sure, what was it?
Not big.
Totally Wild? Was that what he was on?
Well, he's more a weather presenter for 10 and a very good one as well. So
there you go. I mean, the weather forecast is in and it's fucking stormy. And what the fuck are you on about, Tim Bailey? What are you on about, you lunatic? I just politely said, hi, Tim. Don't think we've had the pleasure of meeting. Quick question. What the fuck are you on about? Question mark. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I say I just sort of
had a reply from
I just sort of put some petrol onto the
happy to.
onto the
Tim, looking forward to your reply, big fella. I hope you're going very well in retirement, I'm assuming. What's he doing with his life? He's fucking sitting up tweeting about, what's he on about?
I don't know. You've okay.
And if he hasn't been following my journey, I like talking about myself. So I think I'm pretty mate. Oh Jesus, I'm not defending myself.
Anyway, I took us down that sort of rabbit hole. I apologise.
Absolute lunatic. Let's get back to the footy, Skeeter. Thank you very much. Logan McDonald cleared to play.
Again, just shows to show you your humility that you had him gone. You said he was going to be.
So humiliating.
You said he was going to be incinerated, almost cremated last Friday night or Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. Well, he's risen from the dead like a phoenix out of the ashes.
You did say he's gone, didn't you?
Absolutely. that shows my medical prowess. So he'll be playing. Maybe he's in doubt. We don't know.
The great thing is,
we won't know.
when I look at you across the 6PR desk, you're talking to me with such authority, such positivity. If you know what you're saying, I go, wow, he must be gone.
Yeah, you don't give me a lot of credit when I am right, though, do you?
No, there's no point in that. That's not as enjoyable.
Doesn't happen very often either. So Logan McDonald will be playing. Callum Mills, we know, is our Oscar McInerney out. So key matchups for mine, Skeeter. Who does James Jordan go to?
Well, that's a question. Is it Zorko? Is it Lachie Neale?
I personally, if I'm the coach, it's Zorko.
Off halfback, that sort of defensive
He
forward
just
top?
sets them up so well, and they don't really have a replacement. I think if you go and put James Jordan in the midfield, off a forward flank or whatever, and tag Neale, McCluggage probably steps up. There's others that can play through that midfield for Brisbane. I think Ashcroft will get off the chain if that's the case. If you go and focus on one of those mids. But Zorko, you shut him down and you shut down a lot of their ball movement. And we've seen Jordan do that before.
Yeah. And look, and from a Brisbane perspective, you need to make sure that Nick Blakey, Isaac Keaney, I'm not saying you tag them, but just have a watch to make sure they don't have the influence that they generally do.
I would tag Warner. I would, if I'm going to put any attention into anyone, I would tag Warner. And the reason being, they're all stars. Heaney, Warner, Goulden.
Yeah, you pick your poison.
You're going to have to put some attention to one of them. I just think Warner's the most taggable. I think he's the guy that you can actually shut down a little bit. He's a burst player. He's a
put a bit of physicality
line breaker. Yeah, and you can stop that. Whereas Isaac Heaney, you take a hanger on your head. Doesn't matter if it's a tagger or not.
Yeah.
I just think Heaney's harder to tag than Warner.
One of the questions, of the grand final will be, if you're trying to tell me who do you trust more, Amadi and McDonald, or Danaher and Hipwood? If we're talking there's a lot of question marks against both sets of key forwards, isn't there?
Nothing's too exciting there.
No,
really.
but on there, we know that Danaher can just rip a match apart. Eric's been in pretty modest form during the finals. He was better on the weekend. And Amadi and McDonald, let's be honest with you, that's not putting the fear of God into the Brisbane defence at this point.
I have more faith in the Brisbane defensive grouping with Harris Andrews, Jack Buckley medalists.
Yes.
Payne and Lester.
Can I say Payne? It won't get reported anywhere, but he's saved a tackle late in the game. Mitch Duncan. He kicks that. There's less than a kick to play, to kick the difference in about a minute's game. So what he did in that moment was terrific. And look, he's had some injury concerns himself. But
Lester's the one that goes under the radar. He continuously just gets jobs and gets them done.
Well, he went to Cameron last week.
Yeah, so, I just have a little bit more faith in them than McCartan and the crew. Rampy's a very good player, though. Yeah, so that's going to be good battles. Because the talls don't excite us too much, the two best smalls on the ground are exciting players, Tom Papley and Cameron. So who goes to those? Does Brandon Starcevich go to Papley? Probably.
Brandon Starcevich was enormous last week. I just really loved his game. So, yeah, I think he gets a job. As for Charlie, Charlie's I'm not sure what his numbers are this year, but it feels like he's just hasn't quite taken the game by the scruff just yet.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He hasn't kicked the goals that he has in the past away from home. I think he's only averaging maybe 1 goal away from home this year, which is the lowest of his whole career.
Which I think, I just get this feeling that he might, MCG, fine, sunny deck, that's going to be good for their style of footy, Brisbane, as it was last year. And they fell just an inch short. And Chris Fagan thinks that they've gone down a day earlier. They feel like they're just a little bit better prepared, even though they've been through obviously a lot more.
So they've gone Thursday. They've gone today, have they?
They went yesterday.
They're there. They went yesterday.
Wednesday, yep. So down yesterday. They went to dinner in Fitzroy, which coincidentally is part of their heritage. Today.
That's an early arrival, Skater.
Yeah, possibly. But they said they're happy doing it. Thursday, they'll obviously, if they're not having a run at the MCG because of Katy Perry, they'll do whatever they do. Friday's the captain's run at the G, obviously the parade. So maybe today's, maybe it's a run at one of the suburban grounds. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't realise they were already there. That's a big call. They will have learnt a lot from last year.
100%.
And Sydney will have learnt a lot from the year before. So
I think Sydney's is more about they were probably there fractionally like you guys before your time in 2015 or just, they would have learnt from the day itself, the performance, and it would have stung a lot of guys. And even Jared Berry, just having a look at him after the match, after the Brisbane win, I think he's definitely carried the scars of that 50-metre penalty, which is so unfair. But players do that. You wear that as either a badge of honour when something goes right or when something is a mishap and there's a goal the difference and you've given away a goal, you always put the blame on yourself.
In fairness, mate, I watched that one. So he lost his mum to breast cancer and he's speaking about his mum at that time.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, I'm sure he's carrying that.
That was what Chris Fagan said, by the way,
I saw that. But, I think as much as he's carrying that, and you and I have lost parents as well, I think the biggest motivation for him, which is really special, and there'll be some great stories like this through the whole thing, is doing it for his mum. And you could see the emotion that he spoke about. And there'll be multiple stories across the day like that. That I think is a cool thing about Grand Final Day, because there's one game. Journos, and you'll know this, you have a bit more time to get stuck into a proper story rather than is Dusty going to fucking Gold Coast or who's going to be the West Coast coach.
Yeah, exactly.
You get to spend some time. You would have covered some good stuff over Grand Final.
Yeah, there's some personal stories which come out, and look,
you bloody went down to Geelong and had lunch and dinner with my whole family.
Well,
what was that? 2018.
Would have.
There's a big photo of my whole family. I didn't know what was going on, and you ran the whole story.
Is that right? Okay.
You can't remember perfectly.
No, what I do remember. I remember.
Thanks very much, mate.
I remember flying out.
On gas. He's like, fucking got to go down to Geelong. Fucking.
Hey, knucklehead. I remember flying in a chopper out to. Well, Nicky Winmar's father was critically ill, and that was a lot of the narrative in the lead up to the St Kilda game against Adelaide, going back
like 97, 98.
Yeah, around that period. Yeah, so that was the narrative, and obviously his dad. I just remember. I'm not sure if he passed just before, but he played, and yeah. So you're right. And
where was the helicopter to?
I think his dad was in a hospital in country WA, somewhere certainly just outside the metro area. So we went out that way, and yeah. So
did you chat to him?
Do you know what? This is 26 years ago, and I've struggled with three. But it was a story. Sadly, it was the story of the grand final, and yeah, there's bound to be those personal anecdotes which bob up over the next 3 or 4 days.
I'd like to see the Lizard play well also, and Cam Rayner's probably the only other one we didn't mention. Like what he did in that third quarter and then into the fourth was incredible.
Can we see Cam Rayner for more than? I know he's an impact
too, mate.
I know, but we're just preferably early in the game when the issue is, and going back to that grand final last year, in brief, one player I do love, I know you won't probably touch on him, but Zach Bailey. He
Yeah.
one of the goals of the grand final last year,
Yes.
and he butchered a couple of chances on the weekend, but I reckon he gets under the guard of other teams. And if he gets some opportunity, I think he could really hurt Sydney.
A lot of these players, like listen to all these guys. So Charlie Cameron, Rayner, Amadi, McLean, McDonald, Hapley, Zorko, Grundy, Danaher. What's the?
You're talking about?
I'm talking about confidence players, mate. All these guys can have 5 touches and not impact a game, but they can also have 20, kick 5 if they get their confidence up. So how these teams start will tell a lot. Sydney, one of the worst starting teams in the competition this year. If Brisbane can start well, and some of those Brisbane names do a few things, like Zorko does, sets up a play, or Charlie Cameron kicks a great goal. Then,
You can have that Bobby Hill type of a game, can't you?
Up and about and look out. Skeeter, for the final time, who's going to win this one? Who's your pick? I want who's going to win margin. Norm Smith probably as well. Thank you, mate.
I tipped them prior to the season starting, and after 4 rounds, I thought, nah, I'm cooked, which I put my hand up.
Did you tip them on here?
Brisbane Lions, yeah.
You said on here?
Yeah, Oh, I think I did. But I certainly, that's the team I've sort of hung my hat with. But
What
bear
about
in mind,
Geelong? You were on them for quite a while.
no, I wasn't. I said they were the best team in it for a while, which they were, and then they weren't. But no, I'm picking the Brisbane Lions. Look, they've played a lot of footy, elimination finals, semi-prelim, and I think 4 games in that, and 3 successive interstate trips, not ideal. Sydney's had, I think, 2 games in 30-odd days. So preparation-wise, Sydney, it's advantage Sydney, no question. I just wonder the momentum that Brisbane has and what they have delivered in big moments. Come down from 44 against the Giants was huge. They weren't gone, but they were in trouble against the Cats at halftime, trailing by 19. I think they might be playing the slightly better footy than Sydney, which is, I know that goes against what we saw against Port Adelaide, but yeah, I'm tipping Brisbane.
Close? Or?
Oh yeah, I can't see either side getting spanked at the MCG, given it's 2 neutral ground, etc. I just think that'll be, I'm hoping it is relatively close. And he'll be at double figure odds. He might be 100-1. Joey Danaher to win the Norm Smith, to do something pretty specky. I mean, you could name 10 players and get it wrong. But yeah, I'm tipping Brisbane, a bit of the heart, but also I love Chris Fagan. I reckon never met him, but I just think he's the type of bloke that deserves a flag.
Yep, fair enough. Well, I better go against you then. I'm going to pick Sydney. I think they've been the best side all year, and they've had their ups and downs like everyone else. It's been a close season, but I think, the preparation will play a big part. It could go either way here with, Brisbane could just be on that momentum run and it's the Bulldogs 2016, or what I think may happen is that they might just run out of legs, and I think Sydney will, if they can get into their game,
if they can stay with Brisbane early, they'll fancy their chances in the second half.
They'll be too good. I
don't disagree with you. So a lot of times grand final time, there's a bit of sentiment involved in that aspect.
Well, I mean, and we want a close game. Like we don't want to. I don't want to say it's going to be 8-goal win to Sydney.
No, I mean I went to one of the worst grand finals 2 years ago, Sydney Geelong. The game was done at quarter time. We don't want that. Last year was sort of the prototype of what we want to see.
I love that both sides will have lessons they've learned over the last 2 years, and I think Sydney will have done that as well. And I pick Sydney to win. I'd love to see Harris Andrews win the Norm Smith. Not possible with a Sydney win.
No.
So if Brisbane do win, I want Norm Smith Harris. But I'd like to see Chad Warner with a Norm Smith, a premiership medal.
And see you later.
Yeah, so you right off into the sunset.
Okay.
Will Schofield, Mark Reddings, Shelter FootyCast. Bit of a run through the AFLW scores. Freo defeated Melbourne by 6 at Fremantle Oval. I called that one. Fremantle did not lead inside the sirens. So they never led the game while the game was on, and they kicked a goal after the siren to win the game. It was actually a really good game to call and to watch, but there's not too many games ever that you never lead and you can win, Skater?
No, that's a very quirky fact. Sad news about Anya Tai, who's done another ACL.
ACL. Mate,
32 years of age. I think it's a third.
She's a gun as well.
She might be a gun, but her body might be saying, this is not for me.
Brisbane defeat West Coast by 45 points. It was a bloodbath at Lathlane Oval. Brisbane very good. West Coast still battling to, I guess, make finals. They're not a challenger this year. Games coming up Friday, 2:05 Freo play St Kilda at Moorabbin. And then Sunday, 1:05 West Coast v GWS at Henson Park over in Sydney. So they're all around the place at the moment.
Yeah, and on Saturday morning, just quickly, MCG 9:30, there's a futures game, which these players, young teenagers, aren't eligible for the draft this year, but there are 7 West Aussies, including Cody Curtin, the younger brother of Daniel Curtin. MCG is how big's that as a young kid to get the chance to play in a futures game at the MCG in front of, recruiters, etc., before Sydney Brisbane. That's this Saturday.
So they can't be drafted this year.
No, so it's a future. So, but that's the next step in their progression.
I'll put one of my young backmen on Cody Curtin in pretty much our grand final in the PSA. Jimmy Allimore.
Yeah, big boy though.
He's a big boy, but Jimmy.
Do you rate him?
I'll rate Jimmy Allimore.
Cody Curtin?
I'll rate Jimmy Allimore. I'm not going to write.
No, but I saw Cody in the grand final. I thought showed some really good signs.
So he was their best forward, and I put my best backman on him, and he kicked 1 goal and didn't do too much.
Okay,
but that's not saying he can't play.
No, of course. Yeah.
But Jimmy Allimore can play. My boy. Just watch that name. That's
Jimmy Allimore.
Yep, Jimmy Allimore.
A Quinion, is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yep, you just watch that name. I don't think he's playing in the futures, but should be.
Okay.
Especially if Cody's getting a game. Okay, let's get some questions and comments from our fans. And this one's from Wayne. Why would Warner want to leave the best team in the comp to play for the worst team in the comp? Well, Wayne, he's West Australian and money talks and got a future to set up. And just like anyone else who gets traded, he will have succeeded and done what you have to do as a player and win a premiership. There may not be much more for him to do in Sydney, and he might want to come home.
Yeah. But also, are we not underestimating the relationships that he's developed there? I don't know. You might be 100% right, but yeah, it's a fair question. Why would you go from, say, the Premiers to close to the Wooden Spooners?
Money. Money, being home.
So he's not going to get paid decent money in Sydney?
Yeah, he probably will be,
Yeah.
but I don't know, close to family.
Yeah, well, you've often said, you've gone away from family for many years. That hasn't been an issue for you.
So right, but everyone's different, aren't they, Scooter?
100%. And look, I think it'd be a tough call to win a premiership and walk away. But
right, so recent examples of players leaving after a flag. This is from Bon on YouTube. We kept asking.
Yep.
Jack Ginnivan last year won a flag with Collingwood and went to Hawthorn.
He did, and was that Collingwood push him out the door, or did he make the instigate that move? I'm saying you got to bear in mind the Warner one will be them not wanting him to leave. He wants to leave. That's the reason.
And I've got one very close to my heart that I should have bloody thought of, because we sent him out the door singing the Port Adelaide theme song in the Hong Kong footy trip with Scott Lycett, who was at the time ringing Craig Vozzo, the footy manager, telling him not to trade him because he'd had about 5 days full of piss and he'd sort of changed his mind. And Vozzo said, no, the deal's done, mate.
So there's an example. The player didn't want to leave.
Oh, well, no, I think, 7 days after the grand final and 4 of those days in Hong Kong got a bit of a hold of him. No, he wanted to leave. He wanted to leave.
He wanted to leave?
Yeah, I mean, the lights of Hong Kong got a hold of him, and he thought he wanted to stay there forever. He didn't want to stay at West Coast, he wanted to stay in Hong Kong. Any chance Devon Robertson would request a trade to West Coast this year? Stayed with Brisbane and didn't get much of a look in, plus the other Ashcroft will join this year, from Dell on YouTube. I reckon he's got it. He's got a bit of... So, I mean, West Coast surely are looking at him. Because he came out and said, I want to stick with Brisbane and want the chance of success. He hasn't got it.
Yeah, can I be totally honest? I haven't seen enough of Devon to say, look, go and grab him. What is he, an inside mid?
He played in the grand final last year, and he was very good.
So why can't he get a regular game at Brisbane? They're too good? No, I was saying, why can't he get a game at Brisbane?
You said, is he too good?
No, are they too good?
Okay.
Why can't he get a... I'm just asking a question.
Maybe.
Don't know.
Maybe.
Is he a priority? Probably not.
Is Brisbane's midfield better than West Coast?
Yeah, of course. You don't think so?
This is the whole name thing.
Will Ashcroft, Lockie Neal...
Yeah, I know, but just Devon Robertson get a game in front of, Elliot Yeo, Harley Reid.
Anyway, it's a possibility. I'm not sure he's at the top of their thoughts with getting players, but if there's a moment they can swoop, I reckon they would.
Yes. Agree, read the umpiring bloody awful. One umpire even made up his own rules. Unnecessary bump. That was on Tom Stewart when he bumped Loman. That was a disgrace. That was embarrassing. Don't think that's even an actual rule, from Peter on YouTube. Umpire Nathan Williamson, who was the only umpire from Saturday night, to not get picked for the grand final.
He's from
Paid that-
WA.
yeah, well, he paid that free kick. So, and again, I'm just pointing this out. Like this is how brutal it is. A free kick like that, which was completely unnecessary and irrelevant, and may not even be a rule, may have cost him a grand final berth because the entire team from Saturday is umpiring other than him. Imagine if West Coast didn't make their own waffle side, then it would have been a Derby waffle grand final from Bo. East Perth, alignment.
Yeah, it's a while ago
Peel
now.
Thunder, alignment.
Yeah, that probably is. Yeah, I didn't think of that considering East Perth's been by themselves for a while now.
Would have been good though.
Yes, yeah. I'll put it this way: you don't want Peel Thunder with 11 players winning every year, and you don't want West Coast. Well, you like to see a bit of variety in the premiership holders.
How can the Eagles get a decent host team arrangement? Can Perth be convinced? Or do we have a 10th waffle club based in Bunbury or Northam, which is also a host team? It could include local country talent and be close enough to Perth for their current Eagles reserve players. Current arrangement is clearly not working from B-Dub.
Yeah, I don't think Perth, and I'm a Perth man, I don't think there's something in their constitution which almost precludes them from just jumping into bed with the West Coast Eagles.
Is there something in the Constitution about winning finals and going well in seasons over the last, 4 decades? Is there something there as well? I'm just a question.
No, I think it's a valid question. No, well, obviously that's not part of the Constitution, but it's the members
You'd be
get
fucking worried if it was.
members get a say in how it plays out. Now, what East Perth did was terrific. They used West Coast for the alignment.
Yeah.
Got themselves out of financial trouble, and then thought, well, probably the fabric of the club's struggling a bit here, so they disbanded. Obviously, they'd made the money out of West Coast. Yeah, I mean, West Coast, from their perspective, need to get better concessions to get better players into the club.
Yes.
That's a given. Now, how that plays out over the next few months, I'm not sure, but yeah, you don't want teams like West Coast winning 2 or 3 games a year. They need to be winning, 8 to 10 or more games a year. What's the point of having a club in the waffle from a West Coast perspective if they're not competitive?
What about this one, Skeeter? This is an email from Luke. Thank you very much, Luke, for sending that in. If you do want to be like Luke and send us an email, you can. FootyCast@backchatstudios.com.au. G'day, Scoey and Skeet. Just watched True Footy's video on YouTube where they reversed every home and away result that was decided by 6 points or less. So if you lost, you won. If you won, you lost. In that world, Fremantle finished second on the ladder. There are so many what-ifs in footy, clearly, but it's fun or heartbreaking if you're a Freo supporter to consider. So the top 8 would have been Sydney on top, Freo second, Bulldogs third, Hawthorn fourth, Geelong fifth, Brisbane sixth, Carlton seventh, Port Adelaide eighth. It's not that different top 8. Who's missing from that? Sydney. So Fremantle's in, and who is GWS is not there. So there you go, Skater.
Yeah, well,
They would have finished 13th instead of 4th. GWS.
What happens with a draw like they drew with Collingwood? How does that play into the conversation? Not sure.
What's that?
Well, you're talking about results
No,
under
I'm not
6
sure.
points. A draw probably just
Not sure,
how that plays out. But yeah, look, we're trying to find different ways to give your club some hope next year.
Sam Davis via email. Bit upset, actually, Skater. I am sick to death of all these people changing the bio for Mark Reddings on his Wikipedia page and trying to clown on him. Some of them even taking the piss out of him. What's the man's crime? Being a true larrikin and knowing how to partay. Keep on keeping it real, Skeeter. We love you.
Who's that?
And this is the image that has been sent in. It's time for a party. Big Mickey Thompson. Who else is there? Who else is
Dixie
there?
Marshall, Todd Johnson, Tina Altieri, Bob Harnett.
Who's that in the blue shirt?
Yeah, that's some young bloke just doing his best.
Look at that hair.
Oh, you can talk.
No, I'm saying it's quite a nice tinge of...
Yeah, whatever. It's been
Hey,
happening.
let's just have a bit more of a look at it, mate.
That's 100 years ago.
When was that?
I don't know. It'd be the 90s.
How many of those champagnes you knocked back?
I don't know.
That is absolutely brilliant stuff from Sam. And then he doubles down and says, in all seriousness, love what you two have been doing this year with the podcast on the Mondays and the Thursdays. Been great to listen to while at work with the headphones on. And I believe Sammy made as well to the Jack Buckley medal. So that's a nice way to,
Very nice.
to see
Yeah,
us
I think
out.
I might have overplaying the partay side of things with me. I'm probably not as like once a year, twice a year we sort of have a big hit out, but I wouldn't suggest I'm Oh, there's nothing. I think, put it this way, you and I, if we're talking about hit-outs and blowouts, you've probably got me covered
Why
by
do you always
margin.
feel like you have to?
Because I'm sitting next to you.
Why do you have to, why do you have to try and tie me into it? I mean, look at that. Look at you. Like, you look $1 million in there, by the way. Look at this at Hippie Club. It is just a brilliant photo. We might frame this. I think we definitely should frame this and just put it up here permanently. Would you be happy with that?
Oh, you do what you want, William. I'm happy to be the butt of everyone's jokes.
Skater, mate, have a great time in bloody New York, Manhattan. Where else are you going?
We're going. Yeah, we're doing the
Give us
Yankees.
the itinerary.
Well, we're quickly going to New York.
Yep.
Yankees on Saturday after we watch the grand final. Watch them on Saturday, the Yankees, New York Yankees.
Yes.
Going to see the New York Jets on Sunday, myself. Just going to go by myself.
Oh, yeah?
I've got no friends, so I'm just going to go by myself to
Brilliant.
watch the NFL. Then we stay there. We're going to go see the girls. Going to see Pink and Sheryl Crow on the Thursday at MetLife Stadium.
You doing that?
I'm going to do that, yeah. I'll go.
You're going to see Pink and Sheryl Crow.
Oh, yeah, bit of fun. Then Friday, go to Boston. Go and see Sting on Friday up there.
Sting.
Yeah. Oh, Vic and I will just go and watch a bit of the old boy, and then we'll head to the Patriots on the Sunday afternoon, go down to Washington, D.C., do a bit of that, go back to New York for a couple of days, then head to Nashville, finish off in Nashville, Tennessee.
Bloody hell. Hey, Skater, have a great time. Been a great year. Well done. I'll
Thank
see
you
you when
much.
you get back.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long this shelter FootyCast is going to continue in
Whatever
October.
I assume.
But you'll have a capable replay. Are you going to stay here and hold the fort for the whole time?
I don't know. Hope so.